Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to talk about whether or not on a fast group ride, a modern carbon frame like my Colnago V3rs can yield a significant performance advantage over my modern steel frame, my Bianchi Pinella. I recently took the Bianchi Pinella out on the Ride 84 group ride that I love doing on Saturday mornings. And in fact, I'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. But I said, you know what would happen if I actually took the V3rs, the modern carbon performance frame on that ride, just to see what kind of difference it would make, because I've really been spending a lot of time riding the Pinella. So in this video, I'm going to share a little bit about the South Florida cycling culture. I'm going to talk about the differences in terms of, in fact, let me say it this way. I'm going to share some of the ride characteristics, kind of like a bike evaluation of the Colnago V3rs. I know that a lot of things have been said about it on the internet, but I want to share my thoughts and my perspective on the bike. And the other thing that I got to share with you guys is that on the day that I took the Colnago out, the ride was faster. It was windier and more humid. So the conditions for the ride were more difficult on the day that I took the performance carbon frame out than on the time that I took the performance steel frame out. So we're going to be able to draw some definite conclusions by the end of this video. I'm excited about this one. And I also wanted to give a special shout out to people who are watching this channel from the Philippines. I have a special affinity for the Philippines, the people, its culture, and especially its bike cycling culture. I love what you guys are doing with cycling, and I appreciate the viewership from the Philippines, just like I appreciate the viewership that I'm getting from different parts of the world. I'm really excited. In the future, I'm going to be giving more shout outs and more recognitions to some of the other countries that are represented as part of what I like to call our little budding community. All right, I'm excited. Let's go. The Colnago V3rs is a bike that literally needs no introduction. Its exploits have been well documented on the World Tour level. Mine, however, is equipped with Campagnolo Super Record 11 EPS. I run an 1123 cassette in the back, 5339 chainring in the front, and a Deda cockpit. Now, the last time I ran this ride, it was on my Pinella, which I documented, and I just got to a point on this ride after riding pretty strongly where I just felt kind of tired and felt like I had enough, and I decided to pull up. I could have gone on, but I would have been just a wreck. So we could call that dropped, I guess. But I just felt like, I'm done for the day, and I pulled up. So it was interesting to see the differences that being on a different bike in this ride would have made. So the first thing that I talk about on any bike evaluation is ease of fit. This V3rs is what Colnago calls a size 50S or 50 sloping. Previous versions of Colnago, like if I were to get on a C59, I would have had to use a 48S, and on my Prestige gravel bike, cyclocross bike, it's actually a 49S. This bike comes with a 132 millimeter head tube, which gets me into a very comfortable riding position. I use one spacer and I'm good to go. So I'm able to get my position dialed in pretty accurately. Next, cornering. The bike has what I would describe as a neutral cornering behavior. It's not fast cornering, it's not slow cornering, it's just predictable. It's like the angle at which you lean the bike, you can expect the bike to give you the cornering response that you would be anticipating. Okay, so at this point, all of the niceties are done and the ride is getting ready to get serious. We have a sustained stretch where the speed is going to pick up to between 25 and 27, and it's going to stay there. This gives me an opportunity to talk about two characteristics of the bike. The first one being acceleration, the second one being the bike's ability to sustain speed or hold the speed, let's just say. Acceleration is great with this bike. You hit the pedals and the bike goes. It transmits power very efficiently with a combination of the stout bottom bracket and a relatively short chain stays. Now, once you get this bike up to speed, it does a very good job of feeling like it holds the momentum, much better than other lightweight carbon frames that I have ridden in the past. And I can only attribute that to the aerodynamic characteristics that are built into the bike, namely in the down tube area and in the fork. Now, a little bit about this ride. I'm sure you see people sliding back what I call the moonwalk. You see gaps appearing between wheels and things like that. The speed was definitely on. I actually like to be a lot closer to the front of this ride. Today I'm in the middle of the pack. I was actually sitting back, kind of keeping an eye on a friend of mine who's had difficulty finishing the ride, just because I wanted to see what he was doing. That notwithstanding, I don't know what kind of distress people are in, but I mean, the ride is hard, but I'm definitely comfortable. Now, one of the awesome things about cycling in South Florida is the sheer number of groups that we see. We're heading southbound on Flamingo. Look over into the northbound side of the road on Flamingo, and you're going to see Gali's Group A, and then you're going to see Gali's Group B. And as we circle through this area, there's, one large group after another. All right, let's talk about ride quality. I'm obviously running the rim brake version of the V3rs, fortunately for me, and I'm able to fit 30 millimeter tires on there comfortably, and I do run those at right around 80 psi. If I run a higher tire pressure, the ride quality suffers, in particular the cornering. I've done that before, and the bike set tends to wash out in corners if the tire pressure is too high, and I'm guessing that has to do with the added rigidity of the rear end of the bike as well as the head tube area. I previously ran a wheel set with 28 millimeters at 95 psi, and that was notably more rigid as well. It didn't have the effect in the cornering, but it wasn't as comfortable as I have it now. The frame weighs in right around 780 grams, but it is stiffer feeling than other 700-ish gram lightweight carbon frames that I have ridden. It's definitely robust. It has a ride quality that's very reminiscent of the Trek Imanda. Now, that long stretch of road that we've just come off of is State Road 84. It's long westbound stretch. It's fast, steady tempo, but it will definitely hurt if you're in a poor wheel with a lot of surges and yo-yoing, or if you're badly positioned to deal with the wind. Now, the road that we're on right now, which is Royal Palm, usually settles down a little bit. Like we'll chill for maybe 20 seconds and then bring the speed back up, but not today. They just kind of like kept the hammer down. As you'll see, we're going to be quickly picking up remnants from the breakaway, people who were in a breakaway and dropped out. Now, at this part of the ride, we're deep into Weston. We're getting ready to do a 90-degree roundabout, is the best way that I can describe it. Different people corner here, completely different, and carry different speeds. For me, it's critical to get through this in a very good position, because oftentimes we get on South Post Road, we end up in a single file situation, and the group can get stretched out. Now, for comparative purposes, this is the point of the ride where on the Pinella, I felt like I had enough and I needed to slow down. As I mentioned, I felt like I could have gone on, but I would have been trashed the rest of the day. And overall, on the V3rs, I am spending less energy, even though this is a faster ride, because it offers modern efficiency and a greater power delivery.
I got a short day. I got a lucky day for me. To go home, so hey, that's the beauty of riding from home, right? How my sister, man? She's good, bro. She's good. The day before yesterday, I was thinking about you. I saw one of your videos. Yeah? Yeah. All right, Louis. Be safe, bro. Say hello. My regards to everybody over there. I will. What's up, baby? Yo, what's up, man?
Now, that fellowship and camaraderie is one of my favorite aspects of cycling. For me, the love for the bike would not be the same without community. And that gentleman that just shouted out my name at the end, Richard, that's Richard Chin. And if you've seen my video about cyclists and motorists, we need to do better. He's a gentleman who was hit off the side of the road. He had a long road to recovery, but I'm glad to see him back on a bike and riding strong. Now, if you were to say to me, Louis, how can this bike be improved? I don't know how it possibly could be. The V3RS is a great overall bike that doesn't seemingly have any deficiencies. It's light enough, stiff enough, aero enough, comfortable enough. I know that Colnago has moved on now to the V4RS, which they say is improved. I just don't see the need. So as the ride gets ready to wrap up, you're not going to believe this, but I'm about to get a front tire flat. And here's a tip for safety reasons. When you get a flat in the middle of the pack, raise your hand so that people know that you're getting ready to slow abruptly because of a mechanical situation.
The ride was going great. I was feeling good. I was in the mix, then I got a flat. So these things happen.
Definite conclusion, when it comes to high performance, fast group rides, I'm definitely going to be able to extract the performance advantage out of the modern carbon performance bike. Even though Colnago builds this bike as a lightweight aero climbing bike, I consider it to be a very good overall bike. That notwithstanding, if you were to say to me, Louis, pick one bike of all the bikes in your stable, which one is your favorite bike to ride? My favorite bike to ride is the Bianchi Pinella. It's not even close. I understand the difference between a bike that I feel suits me and it's enjoyable, and I appreciate not only the aesthetics, but I also appreciate the feel of the bike. But I also understand the significance of using the right tool for the right job. There are certain rides that I go on that I'm gonna fare better if I have the modern performance carbon frame as opposed to the Pinella, as good a bike as it is and as much as I love riding it. What I'm curious to know is when it comes to bikes, and I'm not talking about just like specialty bikes, sprinting bikes, aero bikes, or climbing bikes. I'm talking about overall bikes, because that's what I consider these two bikes in question are. They're great overall bikes. What's your favorite overall bike, either past, present, regardless of material, era, or manufacturer? Let us know in the comment section below what you consider to be a really, really good overall bike. You know, one that does everything really, really well, and where you're not going to feel like, man, this bike is lacking this or it's lacking that. All right. Oh, if I don't say this, my wife's going to kill me. Make sure you check out our store. We've got some swag available, and it's one of the ways that you can support our channel. As always, though, our focus here on the channel is to inform, instruct, inspire. Be blessed.